gotta look at. Safari. We're gonna go here. And we're gonna go here. Bouncing. And then I'm gonna go here. Going to go to your channel, and I should be live. Okay. And if I haven't said it, hit that thumbs up. Okay. I'll wait for you guys. Morning, Zephin. I just finished the podcast with all of the leaf blowers in the background. Morning, James. Hey, I put, and I'll actually share it here. Scanner. So you guys with share this scanner. And you guys with TrendSpider, because I know a lot of you here have signed up for TrendSpider. And so that, I'm going to pin this. Okay, why is it not pinning? Oh, I think can I do it here? Oh, let's see. Oh, come on. That is a scanner. Pin message. There we go. That is a scanner that I typically use to scan for stocks. It looks for a MACD cross up. So it's super, super simple. And if you have TrendSpider, add that into your scanner and you can run it. And so what I'll do is I'll post I'm waiting for GarageBand to quit a little bit. But that scanner's good because now you guys don't have to wait for me to tell you what stocks are good. You can do scans. And it's super, super easy to do scans. And that's a super simple way to find, hey, let me find some stocks in certain sectors and certain areas that are pretty bullish. And again, you don't have to wait for me. Oh, God, come on. Essential Sound Library. Why is this? Hold on one second. Converting to MP3. Oh, it's just at a crawl because I have OBS running. That's why. Let me get this up. Okay. What I'll do is I'll go on a crawl here. First I looked at SPY, and that's what I'm going to look at. I did the podcast. I'm waiting for my new computer is supposed to arrive Friday. I will be out of town next week. I may bring my new computer to the hotel with me. I'm not working. This is a personal vacation. So next week, it may be hit or miss whether I'm on or not. I want to wait to see that SPY comes up. So here's what I see on SPY. And Zephin, your question about are we waiting for the Fed? That was a question they actually asked on CNBC last night. Loading. There we go. Okay, hold on. I gotta let the dogs in the room. Come on. Come on. There you go. You can sit in here. Sit down. Good girls. You want me to cover you? Okay. nice and cold for you. Okay. So SPY. Where are we on SPY? SPY, you're looking at $390 was the buy-in. And if I turn off strategy tester, I don't know that you'll be able to see it on strategy without the strategy tester. Let me make sure you can still see this, because you'll see these Bollinger Bands are syncing up. Let me wait. I wish my GarageBand would stop, but it's just at a crawl right now. We're going to quit GarageBand. I'll get some resources back on the computer. Quit GarageBand, save. And I'll post that later. But here's SPY. And you can see right here. All you need to see is see that green candle, the green moving average. That's a 9-day moving average, EMA. The yellow is a 21-day. That green is tending to come over the 21-day, and you don't have confirmation anymore. So if I were to guess at which direction SPY is going, which direction the market is going to go, I would say down. And you've got these gaps down here. You are above the 200-day, so you're above 390, which is the 200-day, which is the next support level. But then you've got this gap down here between 378 and 386. You got a gap down here between 359 and 363. I think at some point you go back down there. I think you start testing those lows. And so am I sure that I'm putting money back in? And to your point yesterday, Evan, are we waiting for the Fed? I'd probably wait for the Fed. Honest to God, I just don't know the direction that we're going in. Now, if you want to put some money in, you're free to do that. You're free to look at some of these stocks that I looked at. Let's talk about oil. On Roblox. Oh, yeah, let's look at Roblox. This is an interesting one. Somebody asked me, why am I bullish on Roblox? Well, I'm bullish on Roblox just because I don't think that it's going back to 40. It could, but I'm not 100% sure. But at 30, I think it's going back to 33. And could I buy it at 30 and see 33 at some point in time? More than likely, yeah. There's two reasons why I think I'm bullish on Roblox. First off, last year, they announced a record amount of gift cards were sold. That's huge. So if you get a ton of gift cards again sold, big money. Big money coming into them. They are not making money. They are nowhere close to making money. This is a company that spends more money, way more money than they make. But they're the only ones that are actually paying creators to actually make content because they have an audience. So I'm going to move that so you can see me. This camera sucks on this laptop. I'll get a better one with the new laptop. But so that's the first thing is I think you're going to see some really good gift cards over the holiday season because it happened last year. The other thing that I like about Roblox is they Meta is scaling back. Meta's going to pull back on their spend. I mean, what do they have? 300 people visiting in the metaverse? Roblox has thousands, if not, hundreds of thousands of users a day. Millions probably, I think, is more likely. It's all kids, but they spend money too. So the problem that was brought up was Roblox. And I'm doing this so everybody can see it. You can see this in TrendSpider too, Insider Sales. It's in your right-hand column, and you have to set it up. But when you go to Roblox in FinViz, and you go to the bottom, these are the sales from the insiders. sale, 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 option exercise, sale. Nobody's buying stock. But you take a look at this. This dude, David Baszucki, I think he's the president and CEO. On November 23rd, he sold one share worth $17 million. He sold a fraction of a share for $3 million. This guy sold 6,000 shares. David Basinski exercised 550,000 shares. The value was $41,000. So, but that's the value of the shares. He actually probably sold them for a significant amount more, but he had only $41,000. Those 550,000 only valued were $41,000 worth of exercised options. So, I mean, these are just guys that are getting rich. If I had one share that was worth $550,000, or I'm sorry, $17 million, I'd probably sell it too. So it's not like he's dumping his stock. He's just kind of getting some capital dollars in there. So I don't think it's something that to be too worried about. But another thing that I went over was Cyber Monday was $11 billion. The early estimates are $11 billion was spent on Cyber Monday. Did you guys buy anything? Here's what I'm going to do. My back's hurting. So I think I got to get more comfortable. Man, this is horrible. Hold on. I'm going to move this. God, who would have thought that the dogs would be more comfortable than me? Oh, okay. Now I'm at least. Let me make sure I'm okay. Ooh, my back. Guys, I'm still riddled with fever. I got my booster shot yesterday. I slept most of the day. But Cyber Monday. What I wanted to bring up was Target. Did you guys shop at Target? One of the things that I was looking at was Target had an Xbox, the S series. I'm an Xbox guy. I'm not a PlayStation guy, but Xbox, $250 on sale, so $50 off. Then they gave you an additional $50 gift card, Target gift card. Look at where Target's trading. Again, you're at 165. You had another cross up here at 165.44. The Bollinger Bands are just super tight on this. It's not moving whatsoever. But you're getting above, there's the 200-day right there. So you're kind of above the 200-day. It's starting to move more positive. And you got this gap here up to 211. Let's move back a little bit. Loading. There we go. Done. So you got this first gap. There's a gap right here that goes to 177. Okay. This gap is kind of in the same realm. It goes to about 180. So you got 177 to 180. But then you got this gap here up to 212. This is why I like Target. I think they're gonna manage their inventories. You know, they say they will, but you know, I believe in them. I go into that store and I'm like, okay, everybody's spending $100 when they check out. The problem is all of their stolen stuff and everything. But Target, Costco, I don't know. I have to beat the drum more soundly for myself on Costco. I have not bought Costco. I should probably own this one. Several times it's gone close to 500 and then you get a 10-15% move. This one's probably covering this gap right here between 537 544. Probably not enough of a catalyst for me to actually buy in, but their earnings are coming up December 8th. And you had a cross up here at 505. You're at 530. What's that, 8% in a company that you probably should own anyway? So hopefully you got in under 500. Under 500 on this one, you buy it all day long. The problem with Costco here, I'll show you. So we go to Costco, and we pull this up. PE is 40. Forward PE is 32. Their dividend's next to nothing. They are down 6% year to date. Now, here's the thing. They're at 40. Look at Target. Target's at 22. Okay? Let's look at Walmart. Walmart is at 30-something, 47. So Costco and Walmart are up in the 40s. Target is down in the 20s. Target, the stores are good. I like it. They have a pretty good holiday strategy. I like it. Where'd you shop? And that was my big thing on the podcast. Where'd you shop? If you shop somewhere, buy their stock. Because most likely everybody else is shopping there too. Macy's I brought up on the retail sector as well. Because I like this one. I don't like it here. It's kind of gotten that button hook that you see. But see that 21.27? I like it right here. Well, I like it at 21 and then selling at 23. So that's a good one. Couple that I went over for Justin. Couple of REITs. Pine. Big dividend. I think it's around 11%. Let's see. Pine. There were two REITs that I went over for Justin. And Justin joined late yesterday, so he put it in the comments. I thought it was funny, but Pine. 5% dividend. This was only down 4% year to date, so it's a good one. But see, look at that. Look at that. $15.91. It dipped down to. It's at almost $19. That's a big move. And their dividend date is coming up on December 9th. So, see it here? It's kind of going to get that button hook in my mind. But the other one is Spirit. Let me see. SRC. SRC is the other one that Justin wanted to see. And this one, let's see. I think this one has a similar dividend. Spirit Realty Capital. PE is 21. They have a 6% dividend. This was one that I told him I'd probably get out of this one based on the button hook and the way it acts. See, the last time it kind of went over that 200-day. Look at when it goes over that 200-day, just kind of gets pulled back down. But if you're in at this one, the algorithm said 35. You're at 40. I just think those gaps down, you're going to see like this gap below. I think you're going to fill it at 39. I'd probably get out at 40. But that might just be me. You might hold this for a long time. It's a downward trending stock. We can look at the daily on this. Oof. Man, these chairs suck. Oh, these chairs are from like 1920s. No wonder people had bad backs back then. But see, it's a downward trending stock. You're under the 200-day. It's been using 200-day as its resistance level. And it's right there right now. So, and you got this big gap down here from a while ago. So, I like that one though. Corey wanted me to go over DHI. He saw it had a golden cross on the daily. I'll show you the daily. But this is DR Horton. It's a home builder. And I know we've traded DRV before. Yeah, Kohl's is... I'll look at the stock for you. UPS, man. Your truck, I'm sure, is filled with Kohl's. And the reason it's filled with Kohl's is because they do a good job of expanding their e-commerce. And they've done that. They've got some pretty big debt worries, though. And that's the problem with Kohl's. But here's DR Horton. And you can see it's just above the 200-day. And when we go to a daily, I'll show you the golden cross on this one. See? So look at that one, the Golden Cross, and it's at 83. Here's the problem. And this was the issue that I brought up on the podcast, was that D.R. Horton, October, downgrade, Raymond James, outperform. Price target is 77. September, KeyBank Capital Partners, overweight, $84 price target. So you're pushing up against these price targets that even the analysts have on it. I don't know that it's necessarily worth the risk on this one for Golden Cross, because when you look at the last Golden Crosses on this, and you pull this back to show the charts, the Golden Crosses haven't always been, oh my God, it's fantastic. This is a stock that has traditionally been above the 200-day. So when it gets back there, look at, this is January until now. So it's just gotten back above its 200-day. Now when you go to the weekly, yeah, after you sell. But see, look at the weekly on this one. It uses the 200-day as its support level. Look at back here. It back in 2018 used it as support level. So I don't think if you got this one in the 60 to 70 range, I think you'd be okay. The problem is, I think with the housing rush that you saw late last year, I think this one just got caught up and it went too far too fast. And you can see it just dropped down. And now it's back in that range. But I wouldn't pay more than $70 for this one, $75. Just because I don't think that you have the ability to actually move up a significant amount with that one. Oil stocks went nuts. You can listen to the podcast for that one. And I go over oil stocks enough. Netflix was one that I showed. The algorithm got you out of Netflix. And D-Man, what I tell you, same thing that I told you psychology-wise is when you sell, what I would tend to do is if you're stuck, okay, I don't know when to buy, and you've gotten out of when to sell. If you're stuck in when to buy one share. Same thing that I told you about holding on to it. If you've gotten out of, the ability to sell, just fucking buy one share. Because you're not going to lose your shirt on one share of stocks and stuff. Netflix, I wanted to bring this one up because I brought it up before. See, the algorithm got you in here, got you out with a little bit of a loss. It looks like 2.22%. Boy, that's a lucky number. But I do think that you've got this gap down here between 244 and 251. And I think you cover that. You can see here, this dropped down and it got down to about 251 here. It hasn't covered this gap completely. So I think it's going to use that 200-day as its support level and come down here. Their earnings are coming up January, so they don't have a huge catalyst out there. But I wanted to bring that up. I brought up SOXL and SOXS. I know there's a bunch of you guys in this one. SOXL, you can kind of look at it. It's just SOXL. Wait, God, I can't wait till I get my new computer. See, it's got this button hook here again, and it's lost. It's down below its 9-day. So it's capitulating. It's below. It's using that 200-day as its resistance level. This is SOXL. This again, you go back to what I said about SPY. Why I don't really trust and I want to be as patient as possible is this just doesn't, this is the long version of semiconductors. Remember, it's a triple levered ETF, but it's moving down. And I think you've got these gaps here that are probably within range of being filled, down about $9.39. So I think you're looking at that. Now, in the inverse, remember, you can always trade the inverse of this. SOXS is actually a pretty good buy here. And you are in at, I think it's 35.12 right here. You're trading at 36.28. See that MACD is crossing up. It's got some pretty good movement. The stock hasn't followed. The RSI is in an upward trajectory, but you've got this gap here between 47 and 53. I don't think you cover the whole thing because the 200-day kind of moves in there. I do think that you get to actually this 48. So 36 to 48, pretty good move. And I think you swing trade that one. That's where I was going today with that one. Tesla, we had the buy in Tesla. Elon's just fucked. I mean, honest to God, he's picking a fight with Apple, and I think Apple picked a fight with him, to be honest. But he's got his eye off Tesla. Tesla should have flown with the full self-driving being released to all of their fleet. And B, Elon wrote a letter saying we're going to have the best quarter ever. So he's pretty positive about it. This gap up here, it's above the 200-day. I don't think it's, kind of in play. You gained confirmation above the 9-day. So the buy was at 182. You're at 180. I'm sorry, buy was at 185. You're at 182. Volume level, it's a big sell. And then just look at the MACD. It's not moving. It's just not super exciting. So I'd probably stay away from that one. Apple is going exactly the way I thought it would. And it's not good. My portfolio is heavily Apple. You guys that listen a lot know, I think it's close to 40% of my actual portfolio. And it's just because it's run up so much. But I think you're covering this gap. I think you're going down to 136. You can see it got you out of the last candle. And I think you're covering this gap. So I would expect, look at the MACD crossing down. That RSI is heading downward. I just think, it's going exactly where we thought it would. So I'm not selling. I'm not out of it. I just kind of hold it. So even if we go to 120. Problem is what stock to buy. Yeah, and D-Man, patience. The market right now for me, it's not giving me a great vibe. I'm not, you got the Fed meeting next week. I just don't think that you've got a good handle. So you got to be, patient. And that's, I'm not trading a lot. If I'm trading, I'm trading the SOXS today. Just because I think that one's probably a good swing trade. And I just showed it on the algorithm. I think it's a pretty good one. I wanted to show Zim because what you can see after the ex-dividend is taken out, see how it lost all its confirmation and it's down there? I wouldn't buy into this one. It could come back. The RSI is at 31. It could. But I wanted to show you this one. Yeah, I think honestly, Zephin, I'd probably load up too because I brought it up yesterday. Part of the reason that Apple is going down, I always talk about how the S&P trades at a 17 to 18 multiple, and Apple's at 23. And the justification for Apple at 23 has always been iPhone sales. And with the riots in China, the slowdown in production, the market wants that PE down at 17. And it wants to bring down earnings, and it wants to assume that Apple will bring it down. That gets it down to about in the 120s. And so in my case, at 120, I think you do load up. Just, again, the ecosystem. My ecosystem. iPad Pro. MacBook Pro. iPhone. I've got my Apple Watch and my AirPods over in the other corner. So Do you take into consideration portfolio sector allocation that much into factor? I don't. Honestly, D-Man, I'm not a financial plan. It's funny because my financial advisor at Fidelity yells at me. And when I say yell, he's just like, dude, you're crazy. Sell some of that Apple. Take some capital gains hits. Pay your 15% and kind of, allocate a little bit better. I think there is some logic to that. It's not unjustified because if Apple goes to 120, I'm hurt significantly. But I don't, and I don't want to steer people towards what is traditional versus what's me. I would steer you towards probably looking at more traditional, but I'm not a financial advisor. So part of what I do is gamble. We had some cross ups, and one cross up was PDD, Pinduoduo. All the China stocks are up. China's going to reopen. They're going to change their COVID policy. They're looking at getting more elderly vaccinated. I don't know that necessarily means Moderna or Pfizer. I think it's the Chinese vaccine, which doesn't work. They're having Omicron issues over there where it just spreads super fast. But Pinduoduo, you do have some confirmation up here where it's trading at 74. But it's gapping up. Yeah, we're going to see that live candle come up here at 74. I'm going to drag this down a little bit so it's not in there. See that little tiny candle there? That was the afternoon candle. But you're going to see it just, the live candle will show up in a minute. But yeah, they had good earnings, so they gapped up. China is what it is. Strategic gambling. That's all it is. I mean, honest to God. I'm waiting for this candle to show up at 9:30 so you can see it. And I'm going to get going because I do have a mentor session at noon with a friend. So they want help with some of their... Oh, by the way, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the alert button. I love JP Morgan. I'll take a look at that one. So you're at 77. Yeah, the candles kind of showed up. Oh, this was before I go to JP Morgan, I'll look at this one. It's BFLY. Butterfly Networks. I think that's what's going to come up. There was BLFY is what I was typing while I was doing the podcast. But if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Also, hit the like button. It kind of helps. I need to get to 1,000 subscribers on here to monetize YouTube. But also, I want to ask, I think there's a lot of people who listen on Apple. Apple Podcast has been growing for some reason. I guess they promoted me or something. But I only have like 5 reviews on Apple. So if you guys could go on to the Apple Podcast and just rate it 5 stars like you do in Spotify. I don't care if you listen on Apple Podcast, but go on to Apple Podcast and hit it 5 stars if you could. I'm going to put that out on the socials too. But this BFLY, this is an interesting one. And I said, you got to be careful about this one. Now, I think it wants to go to this 200 day at $5 here. This is at $3. Now, you did just have earnings. And that's the big issue, is it just disappointed on earnings right here. And so that's why you're seeing this slide. This cross up here, see, it got you out with that MACD. The RSI is at 37, so it's kind of in no man's land, but it is low. I just have a feeling you had this death cross of the 50-day under the 200-day. They're not making money. This is down 55%. You can read some of these articles about their third quarter earnings. Here's what I see. November 29th, initiated coverage. Oppenheimer outperformed $4.50. Remember, you're trading at 3. October 4th, B. Riley Securities initiated buy $9.50. And last year's kind of numbers don't mean anything. $7 and $20. I don't look at that far back. But when you look at this company, again, you have some sales here. $4.76, $5.49, $6.49. This guy bought at $4.50, and that was March 15th. He bought a ton at $4.50. So I'm in the belief that these guys know exactly what they've got. There could be some hurdles along the way. You can see just in this chart, it goes all the way up to $8.58, and then it just crashes, and it crashes down to $2.97. But I brought this up because I do think that you could take a look at this one, and potentially make it to 4. So, Zephin, you got the way I do that, Zephin, and I'll look at JP Morgan for you, Daniel. But the way I do that, Zephin, is take that list, and it's only one list that I've shared, so I know exactly which list it is. It's the Daily Stock Picks Core Investments by Gary, and it's got everything that I would say you can buy and hold. These aren't stocks that are risky. I think you can buy and hold them. The level that you want to buy in, the way I typically do it is I will wait for when the algorithm. You've got the algorithm, so you can tell on those stocks when there's an actual buy. You can do a scan, use the scan that I just posted here, and just scan that list and see if there's anything on the last candle that crossed up. But what I would do is take a look at that list, find a couple of stocks that you like, and then buy them on the list. D-Man, I think so. I think you need some type of Apple product for it. Let me see. Let me Google this. Apple Podcast app on Android. Let's see if you can get this. But D-Man, you can score me 5 on Google Podcast too, I think. Yeah. I don't think there's a way for you to do it. So essentially it tells me here's what it is. I'll go into the audience. So here, I'll show you. Let me see. Hopefully that shows up. This is a bar chart of where everybody listens to the podcast. Let me see it. Joe, man. Yeah. So that green line is Spotify. The purple is Apple. The red kind of is everything else. Most people listen on Spotify. In fact, most people haven't even posted five stars. Do you have TrendSpider, D-Man? Here, I'll post the list here. Let me go into OBS. Brent, it's usually, I think I get about 5,000 or so. It's not that many. I don't worry too much about the amounts. That's the list, man. But Butterfly Networks, I like. I like it. Let me look at JP Morgan for Daniel. Full disclosure, I own JP Morgan at a significantly higher price. I think I own it around. Do I own JP Morgan? Hold on. I gotta look. No, I think it's Morgan Stanley I own at a significantly higher price than it's currently trading. Let's see. All investments. I own Morgan Stanley, and I am down 17% on Morgan Stanley overall, but it's not a huge position. JP Morgan is one that I've traded. JP Morgan, wow, look at that. 109. And you still have confirmation. It's crossed above its 200-day. The one that I have recommended in the past, and I have on that list that I just shared, is Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs is one that it's similar to JP Morgan. I said buy it under 300, and it got to 300, and I think the algorithm had a buy at 301 or something, 307, right here. And so, yeah, you got the button hook on Goldman Sachs, but it's at 378. It's easily 20%. So, yeah, it's a good one. But Goldman Sachs, let's look at JP Morgan. Daniel, are you looking to get into JP Morgan, or you're already in JP Morgan? And are you looking for long-term, medium, or short? That would be where I would probably take a look. I think you really want to. It's going to come back down to this 200-day at closer to 120. But see, you've got these gaps down here. It's going to cover those gaps down. This gap is out of play because it's under the 200-day. This gap is still in because it's above. That's 119 to 120. You can see my dog is snoring in the background. Is there anything more peaceful than a dog snoring? There we go. Okay. Ooh. Done. Okay. God, this thing. Yeah. JP Morgan's been beaten down. Let's look at some of the... Your P is 11 on JP Morgan. It's got a good dividend, 2.98. It's down 15%. Let's look at Goldman Sachs. Earnings per share. Look at Goldman Sachs. Earnings per share 140% this year. Their PE is 10. They're pretty much even year to date. 2.62 dividend. D-Man, when you're out to dinner with people, just grab their iPhone. Go onto their Apple Podcast and just rate me 5. By the way, that's a good pickup line for women is, hey, do you have a second? I got a friend with a podcast. Let me just rate him a 5 on your phone. Yeah. Zephin, I would also say, I think I put a couple of ETFs in there. VOO is one. Make sure when you're setting up a portfolio, the only reason Apple is so big in my portfolio is just because I don't sell it. Everything else I've sold. So that That Zephin is who I have my exact friend who I have a mentoring session with at noontime. We're setting up her portfolio as well. She's never invested, so I got the same exact issue. But, okay, I'm going to move you guys to a black screen. And I am going to start uploading the podcast. Nobody listens in the morning, by the way. For some reason, all you people listen in the afternoon. It's crazy because I upload it and then I'll look at where is is today 29th? Yeah, okay. Why am I not signed in? I should be signed in. There we go. Boom. I'm gonna upload this. It's gonna take forever. Yeah, but it's all bots. I'm uploading. Let me upload this. Let me insert the transition, and then I'll look at. Yeah, QCLN I've liked. That gets you into clean energy. And honest to God, this is a funny story. The reason I got into QCLN was my job, Earthlink, wound up being sold to Windstream, which is I won't speak too badly of them, but I was not a fan of the management folks at Windstream and the way they ran the business. And, it's just a personal opinion. It's not like they're doing bad or anything like that, even though they went bankrupt. But we got sold to Windstream, and essentially the 401k got rolled into Merrill Lynch and Bank of America. And what happened there was, I'm moving you back to Safari. What happened there was Merrill Lynch told me the ARK funds are not safe. You shouldn't be investing in them. And that's literally what the vice president at Merrill Lynch told me. This was in 2017. So they didn't allow their people in banking through Merrill Lynch to actually trade the ARK funds. 2017, you can go look at the ARK funds. You were making 100% in a year. It was crazy. You were just doing so well and I didn't want 100% exposure to Tesla, so I wasn't buying Tesla because Tesla could go out of business. I thought I was more diversified through the ARK funds. So essentially what happened was I had to find something that was similar, that had exposure to Tesla, had exposure to Bitcoin, had exposure to some of the high growth names, specifically in clean energy. And I was trading, I think, Sedge at that time and a couple other solar stocks as well. And so what happened was I found QCLN. And if you look at the performance of QCLN, it has not done super, super well. Come on. Now that it's uploading this podcast, this is going to be super slow, but I'll fill it up. Thanks, Brent. Hey, high five. FXI is good. I do. I swing trade ETFs a lot. I mean, what do you think SOXL and SOXS is? They're all ETFs. That's all I swing trade is ETFs. Just because I'm never shorting stuff. I have margin on my account, and I can look at Marathon Oil up 1.5%, Halliburton up 1.5%, Occidental up 0.5%. That's the energy bounce. So here's QCLN. And this is one that I don't trade. I own. And so for a long-term perspective, I'm going to look at the weekly chart and see since February 2021, you really haven't done that well. It's kind of pulling back to its 200 day. My guess is that if we do go into a recession, you're probably pulling back here towards the 50, $50, I say, from 58 to 50. But you could trade this on a weekly basis and completely. But this was about the time when I bought it. I think it was, no, I'm sorry. Back here, 2018. Probably in that neighborhood. So I just hold it. FXI is good. The KWEB is the biggest China ETF. China stocks are doing well, man. I swing trade those types of things all the time. So, yeah, 20 listeners on here. I think, what do we normally have? Like 6? And there's probably only 6. I'd say that probably 14 of those 20 are bots that are just kind of hanging out. But see, here's KWEB. You had the buy-in here at $19. You're at 26. And you went all the way up here to 30. Yeah, I'm sorry, 27.13. So it wasn't totally. But that's 20%. 30%. Let's see. 19. That's shit. 19.6. Yeah. That's almost 30%. UNH, I need to, hold on. I'm going to add that in. I don't think I have that in my list of daily stock picks, core investments. I'm going to add that one in. Because I do think UNH, I've said it many times, anything around 500, you're safe buying that one. See how it's under its 200 day right now? I think when it gets there, you're good. 529, you're still in that. Are you really only trading at 528? I guess so. Let's see. I'm going to add this one. Into here. Boom. So now you have UNH in there too. Cecilia, you're awesome. I don't know why anybody listens to me, but I'm glad you are here listening. Let me look at CI. Is it CI? My old eyes, man. I'm 52. By the way, no self-respecting 52-year-old would show up in his pajamas to do a YouTube live. So I should get some respect for that. Bum, 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 bum. Cigna's good. I like Cigna. Ooh, look at that. You got an ascending triangle. 319 was the buy-in. Hey, Nick. Thank you guys for listening. I often tell my friends, I said, you guys should pay me just to listen to my genius sometimes. Yeah, so on StrengthSpider, what my plan is to do is set up these lists, set up, yeah, Cecilia, when I was at work, I was trading stocks. I wasn't watching YouTube live, but I was trading stocks. But my plan is on TrendSpider for everybody who signed up, and I think the 60% is still going on, but you can check the link. I haven't checked it in a couple of days, but my plan is to put up these lists to get the strategy tester, which is the algorithm. The strategy tester up here in the upper right, you can see strategy tester. I guess you can't see it because I've pulled it down a little bit, or it's just off to the right. But strategy tester is the algorithm. It back tests. And my plan is to get that loaded in. TrendSpider had said that there is a point in time where I can share that. They just haven't given me a date yet. But right now, what I do is just help people set it up manually. I will set up the scanner. I've shared that on the private Facebook group, the scanner. It's pinned at the top of this chat. so you can see the scanner, and basically set up some lists and scan. So, for instance, if you guys, say you don't listen to a podcast, say you don't hop on YouTube Live, say you, just kind of don't even want to listen to my annoying voice, you can do everything that I do and scan it. And if you have any questions, you don't have to listen to the whole thing. Essentially, what you can do is go and look at this stuff yourself. And yeah, James, you say entry point on Costco? Mother effer, we had the mother of all entry points, and I think I brought it up, but my ass didn't buy in. We had it, I think, at $4.98 or something. Let's see. This is the algorithm. Yeah, I'm at my parents' house. My mother would be horrified if she knew I sit in my pajamas without having showered on a camera. Here's Costco. Look at the entry points. Look at this entry point back in May, $4.36. You will have Costco under $500, I think. I think you will. The problem is, if December 8th, they come out with some type of membership increase, with some type of, hey, we think we're going into a recession, but we're part of the savings for recession because our margins should continue to be good. If they come out with some type of earnings like that, you ain't getting this under 500 again. But that gap down there, it's below the 200-day, so I think you've still got it within range. I mean, the volume shelf is clear. But I will tell you, if you're looking for long-term, buys, typically what I will do for long-term buys is I'll use the algorithm as a guide. But I'll typically go back to either a daily, and if we pull Costco back to a daily, let's take a look at that chart. Yeah. No, it's all TrendSpider. Brent, essentially what the only programs I use to trade, I use TrendSpider, and that's usually my first go-to. And then my second go-to will be Active Trader Pro. And that's because I have Fidelity as my brokerage account. By the way, I should mention this. If you guys deposit like $100 into Fidelity, and I don't have an affiliate link or anything, but they were having a special this week, I think. You deposit $100, they'll give you $150 into a brokerage account. For $100, man, I'd take $150. I'm not eligible because it's only for new people. But so I'll take TrendSpider. I'll look at the algorithm. I'll look at the daily. I'll look at the weekly. I'll look at those types of things. Then I'll jump over to Active Trader Pro. This computer won't run Active Trader Pro while I'm live on YouTube, so I can't do that. But I'll jump into Active Trader Pro. You guys probably, if you have Webull, it's probably a similar type of thing. If you have what's that? TD Ameritrade, it's probably a similar thing. I don't know that E-Trade has anything. They probably do. Robinhood, you have charts on there that you can look. They're just junk. But I'll go over to Active Trader Pro, and then I will use my phone to actually trade. So, but yeah, everything I do is in TrendSpider. I mean, the vast majority is in TrendSpider. But see, so if we look at a daily of Costco, you can see it hasn't gotten the golden cross yet. So is it crazy to buy at 530? Probably not. I mean, 2 years from now, are you upset that you bought at 530? Probably not. Knowing their management and stuff, you can clearly see that it's a pretty good upward trend on this stock. Let's load it up again. Brent, did I set you up with the algorithm? I got to message you with the algorithm. Because anybody in TrendSpider, I'll give it to them. As long as you signed up through my link, I'll give it to you. Follow that list in TrendSpider. Follow that list that's up on the chat. Because I think what I'm doing is setting up these lists. And then TrendSpider can see who follows my lists. Because right now I can't share my my algorithm. I have to set it up with you manually. But they're going to take a look at who follows those lists just to make sure that that I get compensated for you getting that. And I'll set you up with the algorithm. If you use the link, don't worry about it. You should be. But they don't know who I am, Brent. If you say, yeah, Daily Stock Pick, I want his algorithm. Those guys ain't going to know. Some of them probably know. Because I've interacted with a ton of them. But yeah, look at Costco Daily. See? The only time it dipped under the 200-day, this is COVID. No, that's not COVID. That's 2020, 2021. We're going to go to a weekly. Because I want to show you why, even though you're on a 4-hour, yeah. So, an ascending triangle. Look at that on Costco. On the weekly. This is why 530 is probably not crazy to buy Costco at. Because where would you have bought? That's COVID. Didn't do anything. This is the year after COVID. Supply chain issues. And this is just this year's decline. So you haven't even touched the 500 day, the 200 day. So, okay. Okay, guys, I am out of here. Cooper, you're awesome. If you have an iPhone, go onto the podcast on the Apple Podcast as well. But yeah, I can use reviews anywhere you guys do it. That'd be great. Hold on, let me let the dogs out. Whoop, whoop. Okay. You can go see everybody. Go on. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. I appreciate that, Cooper. I am going to load up the podcast. So if you guys want to listen to it, go and give it 5-star reviews. Listen to it on Apple Podcasts. And again, if you're in a bar and you see somebody attractive that you want to talk to and they have an iPhone, the opening line that you can use is just walk up to them and say, listen, I got a friend with a podcast. Can I borrow your iPhone so I can rate the podcast? Nice and easy for you to do. And for more pickup lines, come back tomorrow. Okay. It is 10 o'clock. I am out of here, guys. Take care. Have fun. I will talk to you tomorrow.